Bear, man, it has been way too long since our last interview. I just checked
Hello,
and it
sir.
was uploaded February 1st, and we are now
Yeah,
middle of October. What have you been doing? I tried
I've
to
been
get a
trading.
hold of you, but you're just too
I've been
busy.
working. I've been working, man. I've been working the same as you. I've been working a lot. And
Mhm.
it's about all I do with my days. I work 16 hours a day, every single day. I don't stop.
Wow. 60
Yeah,
hours a day, huh? And
correct.
that would be a lot to cover, though. In 9 months of 16 hours a day work, what?
Yeah,
How did it begin?
I don't even try to think of it that way cuz yeah, it's a lot. I've been up to a lot. I've made a lot of new contacts. I've got a lot of new clients. I've done a lot of work.
hmm
It's all
So
been
let's
good.
begin from 9 months ago. What were you
Okay.
working on then? How has that progressed till now?
Well, I was growing my trading account personally, and I was acquiring new clients for consulting in cryptocurrency. And that is my primary job now. I'm a trader. That is what I will do for the rest of my life with the skills that I've learned in the real world. And the consulting is something that I do on the side for income. So the trading is what I use to compound the money that I have now. But what I do for income are everything that I've learned in the real world is my basis for what I do for money, for what I do for either compounding investing or income. Everything I
hmm
learned in the real world over the past 2 years, I would say.
hmm And let me know how specific you can get into this. Obviously, if there's things confidential, then no need to say. But again, 16-hour work days and trading
Well,
related, what do you actually do day to day? And again, let's start from 9 months ago because I'm sure that has changed over time.
every day consists of research. So that's market research, that's research for my investing models, and then setting up particular trades. My style of trading is such that if I have live trades on the go, I'm nowhere else but in those trades. I must be. They're
Mhm.
attention heavy. I don't leave my desk if I'm in a trade, especially if it involves any amount of risk, which usually it does. So, yeah, when I say 16 hours a day, it's a minimum of 12. Obviously, it fluctuates. I've been working nonstop, but uh, yeah, I would say as an average 12, 14, 16 hours a day. Everything that I do, an alert will go off on my phone, an alert will go off on my Chrome, my Telegram, anything that I need to pay attention to, and I am immediately sucked back into work. And honestly, I prefer it that way. I don't need time off. I don't need breaks, things of these nature. I do take time for the rest of my life. I take time for my family, for friends, all of these things. But eventually, I know after a couple hours, I'm going to be pulled back into work, and I love it.
Why do you say that? What gives you this mindset? Because again, that's very rare for someone to have that kind of mindset.
It might be, yeah. And among the friends that I used to have, and among my old life, it was extremely rare. But the people that I work with now, and all of my clients, there it's almost a universal mindset that more work is better because I don't really see it as work in a way. What I see it as professionalism and discipline. And the more I can be disciplined in my craft, the more professional I can be in my craft, the better I am in it. And I want to be one of the best in the world. And I have the best trainers, the best mentors in the game. So I'm trying to be at their level. I'm not at their level yet. I want to get there. Where they are, that's where I want to be. And
Damn.
it's going to
So
take a lot of work because they've been doing it
even with everything you've done,
years.
you're saying you're still not at. Are you referring to Michael as one of those mentors?
Correct. Yes. Michael still impresses me every single day. His insight and his knowledge on the market still trumps mine handily,
Wow.
easily. Yeah. I still look up to him a great deal for all of his knowledge and the way he improves. It's not just what he's able to do through the day, it's the way he improves all of his structures all the time. That's wild. Because I can use the same structure over and over again as long as it's replicable. I can keep making money with it. But the markets are ever evolving, any market. And this is the oldest trade that anybody has had, aside from making things in the physical world and then selling them as a product. There is the market, there's mercantilism, there's merchants, there's buying and there's selling. This is the oldest job that people have had.
Mhm. Very interesting. Okay. When you say, I guess, adaptability, yeah, is a big part of Michael's superpower, let's call it.
Yeah, I think it's
What
one
do
of
you
his
think?
edges for sure.
Right, edges, yeah, that's a good way of putting it as well. What do you see in terms of how much more you need to do in order to catch up to him?
Well, I view it less in those terms. I have personal goals, and this is part of his mentorship as well. I have personal goals that I've developed for the next 3 years, for the next year specifically. And those get more granular, they become more focused each day that I work. I'm less concerned about where somebody else is in comparison to me. I'm more concerned about where I am relative to my own goals.
Mhm.
And that takes a daily focus and a weekly constraint on time. And that's something that, again, Michael and Adam both focus on. It's not really like we don't have quarterly projections. We don't do monthly projections. We do like we're responsible people, obviously. We plan our time out, but we're concerned about what does this week look like? And then we set that up. And then what does the day look like? What do you need to do today to have a good day? And then we work from there. And and that's why I say when you ask me what have I been doing for the past 9 months, I immediately think, man, first I don't know, and I know exactly what I've been doing for the past 9 months because it's been every single day lined up.
Yeah,
If I was to tell you, it would take me a while. It would take me
fair.
a while to unpack the last 9 months.
But we do have some time, so
This is true.
at least
Yes.
some of it. I would like to know if you can, as much as you can say, again, in terms of
Okay.
average day now compared to 9 months ago, how different does it look? Does it look different?
Oh, very different. Yes. So I've moved since the last time we spoke. I'm in a new location and I'm working closely with a lot of business partners in this location. That's why I moved. So I sold half of my stuff and I decided to move house and so that I could be closer to business partners and we work together every single day as well. They're like a little insane like me. They want to
Good,
work
good.
as much as possible. 12, 14, 16-hour days doesn't stop. So that's a big difference. When you're working alone, I can't express the kind of progress that can be made when you decide to partner with people who are like minded to you. It's a different game entirely. The person that I am now, not just aside from the trader that I am now, outcompetes the person I was 9 months ago easily. Easily. I'm like, for instance, I used to wake up every single day at 4 or 5 in the morning so that I could catch the New York Open. I no longer do that, not because, well, I mean, who enjoys waking up before the sun? But I do that because
Some
my
people do,
trading
to be fair.
style, some people love that. Yeah, some people work well with that. But my trading style, I have data that tells me I trade better in certain times. So I aim for those times.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't even
And
consider that. That over time you can actually gather data on that.
yeah, I have
Well,
a year and a half. Well, I have about a year's worth of data because of certain exchange collapses, shall we say, that I used to trade on. So I don't have that data anymore because I refuse to even have anything to do with those businesses because they were fraudulent. So I left those behind. But I have a year or year and a half worth of data that I can go over and look at what was working and what wasn't. Another part of discipline, another part of my life that's changed. It's not as if I wasn't disciplined before. It's that I can now notice because I'm working with this person, I'm working with this person, I'm working with this person, and all of them have different styles, they have different jobs, they have different careers, but they're all disciplined people. They're all seeking freedom the same way that I am. They're all trying to get more income so that they can impact the world for a greater purpose, for the greater good of everyone involved. So when I look at their systems, I go, okay, this discipline works, but this can be improved. This can be tweaked in certain ways. And that's, I've been adding each block I can to strengthen my discipline to become more of what I need to be for the people I love and the people that I care about, the people I want to be free along with myself.
Mm-hmm. And why that need to be free?
Man, I don't know if you've heard about laws in my country. I don't know if you've noticed what's going on in the world, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a desperate need, I think, especially for another, there has to be another way to do things. And that's entirely why I joined the real world. There has to be another way to do things because I didn't see a way clear for myself to make money and to be free and express myself the way that I wanted to express because I'm not a 9 to 5 person. I'm a 24/7 person. I need to work. I
On
need to
your
have
own
my own
thing.
business.
Yeah,
Yes, on
exactly.
my own terms. On my own terms. I am my own boss. I decide what my work hours are. If I need to take time off for family or there's a function or I need to see some friends I haven't seen in a while, I can do that. But I work nonstop otherwise. And
Mm-hmm.
working for somebody else just I knew I was selling my time for something that I wasn't building in my own name, and that bothered me. It bothered me deeply. I didn't realize how much it bothered me until I had my own business. And now that I do, I love it. I love the freedom I have working for myself. There needs to be another way. I think that's why the real world exists.
Mm-hmm.
There must be an
Right.
alternative.
Completely makes sense. Because you're all the time you're investing, again, it's actually worth it in the end because you're building something of your own that no one else
Yes,
can really take away from you.
ever.
Okay, beautiful. Then I would like to get more technical now in terms of trading aspect.
Sure.
How has your system evolved in those 9 months, your trading system?
My trading system, anything evolves when you have more data. If you're not measuring what you're doing, you will not improve upon what you're doing. That's the basic principle, and that's true for diet. That's true for training. That's true for networking. That's true for any business that you're going to look at will have a set of books, and they refer to those set of books. Otherwise, they die. They are no longer a business very quickly. You can get away with some lackadaisical processes, some lazy practices occasionally for a while. You can do that. And it's not, and as I said before, it's not as if my previous processes were lazy. It's just that they were not being improved at the rate that they could have been or in the ways that they could have been. So, what specifically changed, first of all, as I've already mentioned, the times that I've traded. I get specific data about when my trades work, how long I'm generally in a trade, and how much profit that trade generates based upon how much time I'm in the trade, which assets work best for me. And then
Wow.
I took the top 3 of those assets and I focused on those and only those assets to develop my strategy. And the more granular, the more specific parts of my trading strategy, I'm not going to go into those exactly. That would be, if you want to know that, you can join the real world. And I tell students and my contemporaries all the time, the people that I work with, the other captains there, what I'm looking at, what my system is telling me. And we confer on a daily basis on those subjects. But for the purposes of our discussion, you will never know where you need to improve unless you're measuring properly. And this is one of the things that the professors instill in all of us. We need to measure specifically. When are you getting in the trade? When are you getting out of the trade? Why are you getting out of the trade? Are you just afraid? Is that it? You're just afraid to lose the money that you've already gained? And so you're just pulling it out? There's a common saying in markets that nobody ever went broke taking profits. And yes, they did. Yes, they did. They got scared. They left the trade because of an emotion, not because of their system. Their system didn't tell them to leave the trade. They were supposed to leave that trade on for as long as it took for the trade to complete, but they got scared. And that will kill you. In most games, being greedy or being afraid will kill you. It'll kill your profits. So that's the primary difference over the last 9 months, is the discipline and the information.
What do you recommend to people who want to improve their emotional self-regulation? Because again, big part of trading, as you say yourself.
If you want to improve emotional regulation, the first thing I'll say is that there are personality types who they see trading as a hobby. They want to get into it, kind of like people see being a mechanic as a hobby. They aren't necessarily built as a person to be a mechanic, because that's a different kind of it. That's a career. That's a life path that you can choose in the world, to become good with vehicles, to become good at shaping steel, to become good with cars. That's a different kind of skill. If you want to become a trader, first of all, you have to have the personality and the psychological setup to become a trader. I think it's one of the hardest jobs that you can actually do. It's one of the most time-consuming jobs. Even now during this interview, half of my brain is I'm looking at my charts. They're open because I know my alert's going to go off and it's going to pierce my ears, and I'm going to have to pay attention to what the market is doing. In terms of emotional regulation, some things will not become apparent to you until you do them, until there is skin in the game, until you have risk on your shoulders. You won't know if you're really, it's the same thing as sparring. You can spar as much as you want. Until you're in a fight with somebody, you won't know. There are aspects to it that you will not understand until you are standing across the ring from someone who wants to hurt you. It's a very different feeling. Sparring will get you ready for it. Absolutely. You can train and train hard, but you won't know until you have a trade of a certain size. And we're trained by Michael to understand that there is a sticking point. There's a certain amount of money that will register psychologically to you. Oh, wow. Okay. For some people, when they see 3-figure trades, like a couple of $100, they see, oh my goodness. Oh my God, $500 profit. Oh my goodness. That feels good. I like that. Boom. That's a sticking point. You're no longer cold. You're no longer emotional. You want that profit. You want that revenue. You're already thinking of things that you can do with that extra money. That's a sticking point. Immediately, I know and anytime I feel that in a trade, I have to go cold. I have to control myself. I have to engage my discipline. I have to use the systems that I've built.
Right. And those systems, probably one of the most proficient out of anyone I've interviewed, because no one else talks about the ideal time to trade based off of all the data sets, duration in a trade, best performance in whether stock or asset, however you'd call it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you just hyper analyze everything, which is super cool actually
yes.
to listen to. Nice.
I don't think there's any other way. And I mean, you're in the interview game. You've probably studied interviewers. You've probably seen the way that Lex Friedman and all of these big names, the way they do things, the way they talk, how they dress, how they approach an interview. We have to be professionals in everything.
Well, part of being a professional is telling the truth, and honestly, no, not much for myself.
Yes,
maybe
Rokas.
I should.
Perfect.
Maybe
I have improved you today as well.
Again, I wonder if I should. I'll need to think about it, because I do prefer following intuition, but maybe that means slower improvement. I am going to Pope though to improve my.
Pope's a master. Pope's a G.
I think that's all I need. I just need Pope. No, why listen to Lex Friedman, some boring guy?
Yeah, exactly. He'll put you to sleep. Just go to Pope. Pope's got energy. I love it. Pope will set you on fire.
Yeah. So that's been an advantage of doing these interviews, having access to Pope, and then now him. It's just recently. I've been sending him some videos for him to review. And he's been giving
Mhm.
me some feedback, and I've been noticing improvements. So that's been really cool. I think maybe in that way you can say analyzing then instead of top interviewers. But that's a good idea as well. At some point, I really do need to kind of analyze my competition, quote unquote, assuming maybe that's something I'll do, become the best interviewer in the world. And then, yeah, that would mean I do need to analyze competition.
I would love to see it, and I think you're
Yeah.
capable of it. Absolutely.
Thank you. Now, Michael's masterclass. What do you have to say about it?
They're killers. They are all sharks. They're the best of the best inside the real world in terms of trading and cryptocurrency, not only for knowledge, but competence. And these people, I guarantee you, they'll answer the same way as I just have. If you were to ask them about their system specifically, about their discipline, they're going to tell you similar answers to what I just gave you. You have to have data, you have to have proper timing, and you have to have good emotional control. They
Mhm.
are I I have nothing but praise for those gentlemen. They are the best of the best in markets.
Solid. And what about the actual material in Michael's masterclass? And following that, how does it actually differ from Adam's masterclass?
Adam's masterclass focuses on higher time frames and what I would call the indications within the market for those high time frame systems, and it's mathematical. It's math heavy. It's extremely difficult to get into Adam's masterclass, although the path to get into Adam's masterclass is more laid out. What you need to do is very specific in a way to get into his masterclass, and there's a lot of work. There's a lot of repetition involved. And if you want to get into Michael's masterclass, you have to show an aptitude for trading, and then you have to show a genuine interest in not only improving yourself and improving your own trades, but in improving the people around you in trading. So it's more of a, as trading is, it's more, are more discretionary choices involved.
Yeah.
So there, like I said, there are systems that I use that I've built, but I have to make many decisions throughout the day about when the best system is going to be implemented, in what kind of conditions it's going to be used. Whereas in Adam's masterclass, the time frames are so large that the decisions that you need to make are intermittent. So, and a lot of them are taken from you by the system itself. You don't need to make a decision. The system says go, you go. And that's easy. And part of that's why Adam is, because Adam could be a world class trader too, but he doesn't like to do it because he knows his personality is more risk averse. He's learned this about himself. I've had conversations with him about it. Like, why do you teach investing instead of trading? And he's like, I'm not a trader. First of all, I've done that before. I'm not into it. Whereas Michael, um, and there's a common misconception here about investors versus traders. Every single trader is an investor. I have an investment portfolio. It's just not as it's not as controlled and well attuned as Adams would be, because I don't think any human being's investment portfolio is controlled and attuned as Adams would be, or many in his masterclass. But all traders are investors first. I have a massive investment portfolio, and then I take a smaller percentage of that investment portfolio to control for my risk. And I take that, I go into the markets and I trade with it. And this is
Mhm.
a part of protecting your investment, but it's also a part of rational trading and investing that people need to consider. If they're, you don't go in with your like entire wallet into the casino or into to buy anything, into buying a house. You don't go in with everything. You ask yourself, what would make sense? What can I do right now with what I have?
And in your case, what kind of portfolio are you trading with?
I have a six-figure portfolio now, and
Congratulations.
what
That's from
I
all the work
trade.
you put in, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Mhm.
is. and I trade with obviously smaller portions of that. As it continues on to the bull market, that percentage will increase.
Hmm. Very solid. And just going back to Michael's masterclass, since I haven't gone through it, I haven't checked out. I don't know the structure of it. I remember there was Scalpers University that was coming out.
Mhm.
Is that still part of Scalpers University, or is it next iteration of it?
This is and this is what I mean by when these guys improve, and they improve. It feels like daily, but it's definitely weekly. And I've gone through probably 5 or 6 different versions of the material because these men keep updating everything all the time. So when they do an update, I have to go to the beginning and go through everything all over again. And it's not as if some of the material is the same, but they've organized it in a way that makes more sense for the students. They're trying to make it better for you. They're trying to make it the best education tool possible for you. And they're very successful at it. So Michael's masterclass now used to be Scalpers University. He's taken the lessons from Scalpers University and basically all of the gold and said what benefits the student the most to learn and when. The same way that I do with my trading strategy. When is best? What is best? Pardon me. And he's taken that and disseminated it through all of the lessons. So as you go through the lessons, you learn the appropriate lesson at the appropriate time for where you are within the school and within the education process. There's also the boot camp. Michael's now initiated a boot camp, a trading boot camp for students. So as you enter the boot camp, there's a specific timing, there's a specific structure that you need to hit. And you must hit that, otherwise you will not advance to the next portion of the boot camp. And they're graded on a belt system, much like jiu-jitsu.
What does that mean, timing and what else you said?
So we emphasize that the students learn cheaply. We don't want students to just come to trading with dollar signs in their eyes and begin to lose money. We want them to learn as cheaply as possible. First of all, if they're even the type of person that should be trading, and second of all, what kind of trading works best for them. Not everybody's a scalper, not everybody's a swing trader, not everybody's a day trader. Some people are investors. Some people are genuinely good at low time frame trading, like Michael is. Michael is a wizard on the 1 minute chart. And nothing has improved my trading more than watching Michael and hearing his thought processes in the masterclass when he's on low time frame. And nothing will improve your trading more, I don't think. But the boot camp is set up so that the first thing that you do is you start trading with zero risk. And you go through what we call back testing. So you go through previous versions of the market and say, I have a trading strategy with an entry rule that is this, with an exit rule that is this. And I only use this much risk to go in. So we go, okay, how many times has that happened in the past where you could have made money with that idea? All right, let's iterate that process 100 times and get the data from that process. How many times did it win? How many times did it lose? How long were those trades? What kind of a time frame are you looking at for those trades?
Mhm.
You do that 100 times. You prove it to the masterclass students and the captains that you've done it 100 times. You advance to blue belt. And in blue belt, we don't even start using real money in blue belt. You do dollar trades in blue belt. So you're trading with $1 of risk for each trade. Learn
Interesting.
cheap.
Hmm. Then yeah, it's completely understandable because so many stories you hear of traders when they first start out, they lose the majority of their money, and then that's like the market
Yeah,
tuition as they call it. From there, they start learning, and then it starts going up. So again,
absolutely.
it completely makes sense, and it just
Mhm.
seems to be universal. Everyone who starts out just loses money with trading initially. That is until they learn. Whereas they
Initially,
think,
yes.
I guess it's maybe beginner's luck, They think, I've got some wins. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to continue
The
doing this.
worst.
And then that's when
That is
it
the
drops.
worst thing that can happen to
Yeah.
you. The absolute worst thing that can happen to you in trading or even in investing is to begin winning a lot. That is horrible. If you're not doing these strategies, if you're not in the real world and you're not learning cheap, you're not doing back testing, you're not doing dollar trades with low risk, and you win a lot of money, that is psychologically that's hard to recover from. I was rather fortunate because I did just as you just said. I paid the whales my tuition fee for my, and I even remember my first strategy that I made had a 33% win rate at an average of 2 or 3 R per trade. So I generally was even, like break even or losing money on the trade. But yeah, I lost about 4 figures learning. So and nobody has to do that anymore with Michael's new system. No one has to go through that anymore. It's not expensive at all to learn how to trade in markets because of Michael's innovations.
Now, with everything you've just described, just super comprehensive than the boot camp and just the campus in general.
Mhm.
How different would you say is it compared to what you could find out on the internet?
I've done research on this as well. I've looked at many of the trading groups, private groups, and what I can tell you in just a quick appraisal of these groups, they are more expensive for a less professional environment. And I mean, this is cryptocurrency we're talking about. So what I mean less professional environment, I mean really childish. I mean immature. I mean the information is not as readily available, and I'm talking 10 times the amount of the real world for less qualified, less professional, and less tested information in the markets. This is the best system for education that exists in trading in crypto.
Hmm. And that's, again, you speaking from personal experience.
Correct.
Whereas, and this is just one campus as well. That's why you clarified for trading crypto, because there's so many other campuses as well. And it just ends up
Exactly.
being, I used to hear the real world is the best educational platform on the planet. But I used to think, surely that's not true. Surely not.
No,
But
it's true.
doing all these interviews, what compares to all of this? You're probably around 325th person I'm interviewing, around that number. And it's even changing lives. People, over the last week, there have been a few stories where people were on the verge of committing suicide, and then they found Andrew Tate, found the real watch, completely changed their life. So yeah, it's there really is nothing else like
No,
this.
no, there isn't. It's absolutely the best education platform that exists. The kind of information here rivals any university course. It's better than any university course that I've ever taken. And you're
Hmm.
right, it's absolutely changing lives completely. It changed my life 100%.
So where was your life heading before you joined the real watch? Like what trajectory was it on?
Yeah, I remember we talked about this the last time. I was on a lot of drugs, and I was using those drugs as a coping mechanism for what I knew was true but couldn't really understand was true or why it was true. That there had to be another way. I can't just be working for different companies endlessly and this is my life now. That doesn't make any sense to me as a person, and I use drugs to cope with that fact, and hard drugs as well. I was on a lot of different drugs, and now I am a year sober,
Hmm.
more than a year sober actually, since August.
Wow. And you'd attribute that to the real world as in helping you keep you accountable and just transforming that?
100%.
Like,
Yeah, 100%. It was the professors challenged me because I had some holdovers from some of the drugs I was doing, addictive as drugs are and mind altering as drugs are. It was originally Andrew Tate. I don't know if I can mention that. Can I?
yeah, you can. You can.
Okay, very well. It was originally Andrew Tate that challenged me to become the best version of myself possible. And then I had to ask myself, Is the best version of myself possible somebody that wakes up and does speed? Probably not. So I cut out some of the harder drugs, and then the professors talked to me personally and said, you can do better than this. You can do even better than this still. You don't know how good you can become with a sober mind. And I didn't, exactly believe them outright, but then I said, okay, I'll try. I'll go for a year sober and I'll see what the difference is. The difference is wild. I'm never going back to any of those drugs or any of those people, any of those friends who are not my friends ever again.
All right. What about the community aspect then within the real world? Since I'm guessing you're quite close with the people in the masterclass, right?
I am, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
What
they
do you have to say about the community?
I've met some of the finest individuals and my best friends inside the masterclass, both Adam's masterclass and Michael's. I've met excellent business partners. I've met professionals of every walk of life, of every age, inside those masterclasses. Um, no better community could I find. In fact, I will say
Mhm.
it's yeah. I'm there's a poverty of language for my ability to tell you how life changing and how good it is, because it's something that you need to experience. You need to be in here to understand it, to see the differences in other people's lives and the difference that you can make in your own family with the contacts in the individuals that are inside these groups. I would not be where I am. I would not be who I am without their influence.
Huge. And since you're on this trajectory, where do you see everything heading for you in the short term, medium term, and long term?
In the short term, I have goals that I've set out for my business with a lot of the people that I'm working with now, a lot of the businesses that I'm consulting for. And the short term, I see a lot of trading in my future, which is, I
How
mean, a lot
unexpected,
of
huh?
work, a lot of work. There's a lot of work to be done.
Hmm.
And it presses on me as I think about it. There's a lot of work for me to do yet today as well. In the near term, I see a lot of traveling in my future. I see a lot of different countries in my future. I want to expand what I know, and I want to influence people with what I know. I want to help people. I want to help people to get where I am now. That was originally why I wanted to become a captain and an apprentice. And I continue to do that to the best of my ability, but there's no ceiling. I see there's no end point. There's no goalpost exactly. It's as much as I can do for as long as I can do it, so that not only I can maintain my freedom, but my family can be free as well. And I can help people to become as free as I am and more. That's my goal. That's what I would like. And it's actually my purpose. It's what's driving me. A dollar amount is just a dollar amount. And honestly, it's not interesting to me anymore. There's Money is a tool. I don't have a dollar amount in my mind like I'm going to make 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. Yes, I will. I'm aiming at those things, but for a specific purpose. My purpose is behind what I'm doing, not $500 million or something ridiculous. Or I've never been too interested in cars. I mean, there's some nice cars out there. There's some nice suits out there. There's some nice watches out there. That's fine. That's all fine. Purpose is what drives me.
And that's what you need as a man. You need a purpose. And I'm sure family is motivating you as well, just
Mhm.
doing it for your family. So it's again interesting to see because men are built to sacrifice themselves for others and go towards something with a purpose, at least from what I've seen. Would you agree?
There's nothing else to do. There is literally nothing else to do. What else should we be doing? What else do you want to do? I can't think of anything I would rather be doing.
Hmm. All right. Beautiful. Okay, so somehow that was 40 minutes. Not sure how, but here we are. Yep,
Okay.
but live for 40 minutes. Crazy. Let's see. I mean, I think we can wrap up then with a final question.
Okay.
I'm very happy with how this went. It was awesome catching up with you. And yeah, to end off, for people who are unsure about joining the real world, because for $50, everything you've said, surely it's a scam for $50. What advice
Hmm.
would you have to them?
Well, there's two ways to think about it. It's only $50. That's what, two pizzas a month or something like that. If it's genuinely a scam, first of all, nobody would be joining it in the numbers that they are, and second of all, it's $50. If people are really talking about it this way and with this degree of enthusiasm and energy, just join, find out. You can do your own research on it. You can listen to people talk about it, or you can figure out for yourself what is true, which is what I recommend people do. Do the research, do the work, find out if it's true, and you'll see.
Mhm.
You will certainly find out.
And it's crazy to see how far you've come in. It's basically been 2 years, right? I think it's been about
August
2 years.
3rd, 2021. Yes.
Yeah, in 2 years, damn, complete life trajectory change. Look at where you are now, and again, it's only been 2 years, to be
Yeah.
fair. So who knows
Yeah.
just how far you're gonna go?
We will
Sky's
see.
the limit.
We'll
Mhm.
keep doing interviews. We'll keep in
Exactly.
touch.
Hopefully not every 9 months. A bit sooner would be nice. But
Okay.
yeah.
We can definitely do it sooner. Yes.
All right. So Bear, love catching up with you. And yeah, truly wish you all the best. I love talking to you. And it's interesting to see how your mind works, how you think about trading. So will be really cool to do the third follow up and just again see how far you've come from now until then.
I like that idea. Thank you very much, brother. You're very kind. It's good to speak with you.